Hello, everyone. It's Jarek from the Jarek Bryan Show. And on today's show, we have a very special guest. We have Donnie D, Donnie 2 times, Donnie Donuts, Donnie from Brozos. Donnie, how are you doing?
Hey yo, how we doing? Happy to be here, Jarek. Thank you for having us. Can't wait to chop it up a little bit with you and just let people know what we've got going on and dive deeper into everything.
I can't wait. And, if y'all didn't know, our first interaction, because I was new to Polygon, right? And Brozos, I saw Brozos and I'm like, what the hell is this thing? In a good way. I was like, man, this artwork is so clean. I don't know Polygon. And guys, this is how I consider myself a veteran, right? And I messaged Donnie and I asked him what kind of Matic to use. And thank God he didn't block me. And he didn't answer me. He left me on red 1. But I learned, guys, so even the most seasoned people can be a total noob, though. But Brozos was the first project that drew me to Polygon. And Donnie, before we get into Brozos and all that, tell me your story. Like, how did you get here to Brozos?
Yeah, man. So I had, I got my introduction into crypto in like 2018-ish. I had a background in trading stocks. And a buddy of mine told me about, this token, right? At the time, I didn't know what any of this meant, but he was like, there's this token you got to get, and, it's this, and, the market cap is this, and if it goes to a penny, you could have, you know what I mean? That whole thing, and he really sold me on it. So he explained to me, how to get a MetaMask, how to set up the wallet, all of that, how to add funds to it. And I was familiar with Coinbase. I've, dabbled with Bitcoin since Coinbase came out, right? So I knew how to on-ramp crypto, but I didn't know that there was more to it. So he's like, yeah, dude, decentralized exchanges, there's this one called Uniswap. So he says, send some Ethereum from your Coinbase to your MetaMask wallet, connect it to Uniswap, buy this token. I bought the token, and it's a funny story. I was like, cool, okay, it went up like 100% in a day or whatever. I was like, oh man, there's something here. Like, we can really make some money. I sold, I don't know, probably like 10 grand worth of stocks. I put it all into this token. And then on day 1 of mainnet, it had a mint and dump exploit and went straight to zero. And I was like, okay, maybe there's something here. I don't know. There was a period of time where I made 100% in one day. So I said, okay, I just have to be more careful with this. And the community around that token was really cool. It just kind of sucked you in. It was really inviting, just the space as a whole and the people you met along the way. So I kind of stuck around for a little bit and, joined other communities, other tokens. And before you know it, you're on Twitter. You're on crypto Twitter, you get into the algorithm, and you're on Telegram, you're joining all these groups, and you just get really sucked in, and it sort of consumes your life. You're at work thinking about doing all this math in your head. You're like, okay, well, if this token goes here, right, then we could have this much. And it was just really addicting, man, And so I guess that's how I got my feet into crypto and Web3. And then how I got into NFTs really is, so the founder of Brozo is a friend of mine, IRL. I met him through a mutual friend who works for Near Protocol Blockchain. And we had launched this collection on Near. He asked me to market for it, and I was like, yeah, dude, I'm down. Like, let's run it up. Let's totally do it. And I hadn't dabbled too much into NFTs prior to that. Like, I had bought one on Ethereum. It was called Chubbies. I couldn't tell you what they're doing or what it really even was, but there was, NFT hype going on at the time. It was a few years back. But then, we launched that project on Near. It did extremely well. And then you kind of get sucked into the NFT portion of like crypto Twitter and all of those communities, and there's way more camaraderie, brotherhood, interaction on the socials, engagement, all of that. Like, these people, they go in, they rally, and it was just an amazing time. And then, a couple years later, we launched this project here on Polygon called Brozo. And again, sort of same deal. I was like, dude, I'll do the marketing. I love marketing. I love chatting with people. I love, it's what I do. It's what I do. My restaurant prior to all of this was sorry, my background prior to all this was in restaurants. So I'm just used to talking to all kinds of people. Um, so it was a very easy transition. Do you know what I mean? Like just the hospitality and responding to customer inquiries, if you will, essentially all day is what I was doing anyway. So it was an easy transition. Love marketing, and that's how we ended up here on Polygon with Brozo. That's how I ended up here anyway.
That's great, Donnie. And Brozo's totally, like just drew me in. The artwork is something I really never seen, because usually kind of artwork now is usually like a Kong or a cat or a dog, or not that there's anything wrong with it, but it was just something that was different, right? And I know you guys, like, the translation with the artist is kind of like off though, but you kind of like, is there any way you can kind of tell me, like, what was his like thinking behind the art in any way?
So I know, I can't speak too much on this because, the direction of it all was between, the founder Teddy and
Mhm.
our artist Goose. But I know that, the thought process behind it were that, like, monkeys are played out, animals are sort of
Mhm.
played out. Do you know what I mean? And you need something new and catchy and refreshing. So I think that's where robots came into play. And then also, during all of this, and I'm sure, people listening have heard about AI and
Yeah.
robots, and it's just, it seemed like a nice opportunity to sort of to seize, right? Like, create a collection of robots. And then, the name Brozo, the more you think about it, the more it sort of sounds like some sort of robot superhero kind of guy.
Mhm.
Uh, but the name for that actually was inspired by, one of our team members, Diddley, David, our business development lead. He calls his brother. So we call people Bozo. Everybody calls people Bozo, but he calls his brother a Bozo because I guess he calls him a Brozo because I guess he is a Bozo, but also his brother. Uh, so yeah, so the name was honestly really just like there wasn't any crazy thought behind it. I think he said it and it just sort of stuck, right? And it had that memeable aspect to it. Everybody in this space knows the term bozo just because of what we read on the timeline, like, hey, you bozos doing this, or don't be a bozo, etc. So Brozo just sort of fit. It sort of fit all the themes that we were going for.
Yeah, and it drew me in, like I said, and it was something that I was like, "What is this?" So I kind of credit you guys to kind of getting me in the Polygon ecosystem, and even then, right, as I was trying to like win OG you to death, right, um, I didn't get a whitelist, right, and then I thought, like, okay, well, it's Polygon, right, and I'm gonna just mint this out real quick. I mean, like, there's gonna be plenty of public. It was seconds. I don't even think I even got a chance to even connect my wallet in time, and it was all gone, all of it. And I was so pissed off, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me! There is no way." And yeah, it was a total movement, and it was something different, and I love it, right? And as far as like kind of like what you've kind of seen so far, and everything like that, with all the different like DAOs and everything that's kind of come from Brozos, like, can you comment on like how active like the certain DAOs are that you have within Brozos?
Yeah, for sure. So right off the rip, during the time of launch and a little bit before it, we were sort of planting the seeds. We support sub DAOs. We like when projects have sub DAOs.
Mhm.
It's cool. It's a fun little niche thing to have going on within your project. So before we even minted, we were like, naming some of the traits that nobody even knew yet anyway. But we're like, okay, when Loverboy DAO or when King DAO or something. Do you know what I mean, for the lordship
Mhm.
crown? And then, like, immediately after mint, they spun up, the community members. There were like 15 or 16 sub DAOs that just like came right off the rip. Um, and from those, some of them came and went. You know, credit where credit's due. They tried. And it is tough to to run a DAO. It takes much more commitment than you originally think. Um, so I would say now from the 15, there are 4 or 5 very active ones that are doing a lot of stuff right now.
Mhm.
Um, I would say the Brolex DAO has probably become one of the most sought after traits within the collection. Easily, I think has the highest trait floor price out of any other in the collection. Um, Great community that they've got going on. They've got their own website, their own Twitter. They're doing giveaways. They're running raffles. They've got a whole bunch going on. And now that's the Brolex head trait.
Hmm.
And then another one that's really popular. It ended up being called Pimp Dow.
Yeah.
But what it is we have this clothing trait called Lavish Sand and Lavish Black. There's two of them. They're just they're furry coats. They kind of look like pimp coats. So I guess the name Pimp Dow just sort of came organically because of that. But they're doing a lot of stuff too. They've got their website, right? Twitter. On their website, they've got a raffle app, right? So they host NFTs, and you can purchase tickets, and you can, win NFTs. And they just added a game to their website too. It's called Find
Damn.
Your Pimp. Yeah. It's just like this fun little Web3 DApp game. Find the pimp. You wager your Matic, and if there's a pimp, there's 3 limousines. You wager your Matic, you pick a limousine. If there's a pimp in that limousine, then you double your Matic. So it's, I guess, random number generator, sort of how it works. But just a fun little game, and it's just a cool thing to have as part of our community, right? Like, this isn't our utility or anything like that, but we've got community members who created an entire little project, in a sub community of our community. So that's just beautiful to see. And then there's another one called the Brozo Punks, and that's the spiky head traits. It's just it's punk gold or punk chrome, but punk is spelled with a 9 instead of a P. A lot of our traits are spelled with numbers instead of letters because they are robots, and it's just part of the culture, I guess. But they've created tons of lore and just like a whole backstory around the Brozo Punks and other Brozo traits and how they came to be and where they started. And they're just putting in the work, putting in the time, and putting in the effort. So, like I said, credit where credit's due. We love to see these community initiatives and just, community members rally towards, a collective goal, whatever that may be. But we love it. We support it. And another one, I would say, like the last most super active is the Lonely Bros DAO.
Mm-hmm. Shout out Tiz.
Yeah, shout out Tiz, 100%. There's a few traits a part of that DAO. There's like the crying eye trait. We have a sweater that has a heart on it. It's the heart is broken though. So the vibe is like, lonely and sad and wrecked and everything like that. But he took it, right? His motto is, wrecked together. And he was focusing a lot on mental health and mental health awareness, which is a huge thing in the space. And it's something that, people need to put more, I guess, time and effort into, I don't know, amplifying, I guess, right? And just, being out there and helping and just wanting to make the space better, because we all do get wrecked from time to time.
Oh, 100%.
And we're all down bad, right? Especially during this bear market.
Me.
Yeah. And sometimes there's nowhere else to turn, right? And you've got no one else to talk to or whatever it is. But, the Lonely Bros are there, just rocking it out with memes and good vibes. Because why be wrecked alone when you can be wrecked together? So shout out Tiz for spearheading that whole movement with the Lonely Bros DAO. They're doing a lot of stuff too. And then I know I said 5, but I listed 4. There's another one, the Polygon DAO. I'm not sure what they are doing, but there is a community there. So, I like to see where that goes. But yeah, those are the 5 that are left.
Yeah, it's great, and that was one of my first experience kind of into having like DAOs and everything like that. So it was like, oh man, all these active DAOs, and it was great. And of course, some like fell by the wayside. I knew that wasn't happening. I think at one time we had like, I felt like 80 different DAOs,
dude.
But it was great. And the Brolex, of course, for right now is kings, right? And and it's just great that we have all this involved community. But I do kind of want to go in to kind of like the main mission of Brozos, and that is luxury fashion in Web3. And can you kind of more elaborate on kind of like what that is and how you guys are going to kind of bring that to Polygon and Web3?
Yeah, man, definitely. So let's go back to when we were like picking a chain to launch on, right? We chose Polygon because, we check the charts on the daily of, daily volume that these blockchains are doing. And Polygon was always just sort of a trailblazer, just kind of like hanging out in the back a little bit, but not at the bottom, right? Do you know what I mean? They were making their own way, doing their own thing, and just kind of slowly growing. So we saw, and we were like, okay, we can either create a brand on these up and coming blockchains and maybe try to be a first mover or whatever. And then we're like, you know what? We see Polygon here. We see that they now have an NFT ecosystem. They're an extremely established blockchain. They've got all these Web2 brands already, and they're adding to the day, right? There's always a Web2 brand deciding to build something here on Polygon, whatever it may be, Nike, Starbucks, Coca-Cola, whatever it is. So we're like, okay, let's choose Polygon. We think that's a great place to create our brand. And then we did more market research, and come to find out, there's none, I would say, Web3 native luxury fashion brands.
Mm-hmm.
And in recent times, we do hear a lot about these Web2 companies, branching over to Web3. These Web2 luxury fashion companies, whatever it is. Like Bape was the most recent one. I'd say that decided to enter into Web3. But they, in my opinion, dude, and no shade at all to any of these companies, right? They have such a Web2 mindset, and I think that is detrimental to their success in Web3, right? They don't understand the culture. They don't understand the space. They haven't been through a bear market. They don't know what people are thinking or anything like that. They don't know how to connect with or engage with their audience. Whereas us, being Web3 native already and, sort of, I guess, raising from an NFT collection, and generating the hype and understanding the culture, it sort of it gave us a leg up. It gave us an advantage in establishing ourselves as a successful Web3 native brand. And then, luxury fashion, Teddy himself is a very, he's a connoisseur of that sort of that scene, if you will. And a lot of our traits were inspired by luxury fashion brands, like my PFP here. I
Mm-hmm.
want to say that's a Dior jacket, Dior puffer jacket, but it's brozoed out. And there are quite a few traits that pay homage to luxury fashion brands. We thought that was cool too. And then yeah, dude, like as we do more and more market research, we see that the luxury fashion industry is gigantic. It is huge. Companies, like a singular company's market cap is greater than that of Bitcoin, right? I think it's Hermes. So we're okay. This is a huge market that we're tapping into. In the first quarter of 2023 alone, the luxury fashion market segment has already brought in, I think it was over $100 billion in revenue. And then, when you do the math and you start to compare things, you're like, okay, this one segment has in one quarter of the year has, done more volume or whatever than the entire market capitalization of the blockchain that we're building on. Right. So when you factor all that in, you're like, okay, the upside potential here to creating a luxury fashion brand is huge for one. And then we're also, I guess, doubling down and leveraging that even more by being, the first Web3 native luxury fashion brand. So, I mean, everything just came together. And then, choosing Polygon seemed to be, the best choice that we could possibly make. And it still is to this day, for building a brand in general. So at the end of the day, it was the perfect storm for us to really flourish and create something beautiful here. And then in terms of our merchandise and apparel and in the production and everything like that, the studio that we're currently partnered with that's creating some of our stuff, I mean, until we get large enough to create it ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've also created items for Bape, a bathing ape, Nike, Stussy, the Hundreds, a few other, mid to upper tier, luxury fashion brands, Puma, um, and everything in between. So we're like, okay, these guys can obviously produce fashion. They're sort of in the scene already too, and they can help us with the NFC chips and things like that within our clothing, so that way you can scan it, you get a QR code or whatever it is on your phone. So it's cool, man. It's really cool, high quality stuff that we're looking to deliver, and it will all have that luxury fashion sort of vibe and feel, and it will be exclusive to our holders. So that's really exciting.
And that's, like I said, the kind of like little previews that you guys have shown. Like, I can't wait, right? And I definitely like need me like some sort of like jacket or anything like that. But also, I want to ask too. One, when do you think that will kind of like roll out, or we'll even get like a little bit of a kind of taste of that, right? And then two, will any of the Brozos like items that are on the Brozos will be like something that maybe we can actually like get, like maybe like a puffer jacket or the glasses? Can you kind of go more if that will possibly happen?
Yeah, for sure. So I know that we did have a summer drop intended, and that is what we were talking about during Mint and shortly thereafter. But that has since been delayed, just because things take time, and other things came up, other demands kind of rose from the community, like creating a staking platform and things like that, so people can put their Brozos to work. And now we're developing a way for users to utilize those staking rewards to earn discounts towards the merch that we will put out. But yeah, I would say Q4, which is approaching shortly, we should have some wearables out. And yes, we have done some sneak peeks, and I don't know if anyone's put this together, but some of the traits within Brozo we have, I guess, manifested into real life. One of them being the
glasses, right?
Yeah, the ski goggles, the
Mm-hmm.
sunset ski goggles, which are super dope looking. Man, they look so clean. So those will be available. I know that there will be bucket hats. I don't know if Teddy will yell at me for saying anything more, but some of the traits within Brozo, you will be able to purchase in real life.
Ooh.
So yeah.
See, that's cool right there. Something tangible, something that the holder, it gives kind of like the holders kind of like, like perks for actually holding like certain Brozos. So like, hey, say if I wanted a puffer jacket, right? Well, I'm going to like go find one, right? And I just love the fact that I think, in my own opinion, right, projects that still kind of bridge kind of the gap and still kind of incorporate both Web 2 and Web 3 are going to be the ones that honestly are going to win, because we haven't gotten full adoption yet, and you still need Web 2. And I just like love the fact that you guys are doing that, and kind of like going into like staking, right? You guys have a different kind of spin on staking, right? You guys have missions. Can you elaborate more into these missions?
Yeah, for sure. So the missions are not out yet. The staking rewards at the moment are based on rarity of the NFTs, anywhere from 1,000 points a day to 8,000 points a day, 8,008 actually. But yeah, so what they were going to be at first, and we have since changed this idea a little bit since it was first conceptualized. But at first, they were going to be a very in-depth sort of techie, a lot of development behind this. Missions, because the Brozos have traits that aren't visible traits. They're called careers, and they're called districts. And now each Brozo has its own career. And the idea for missions were, each mission, if you will have a different task. And if your Brozo has a trait that has something to do with that, like say the astronaut trait, and then this mission is something about, sending your Brozo off into space, or hypothetically, or whatever it is, or what have you, the astronaut traits would yield more points on those missions. But since then, and we've seen kind of something like that already done, and we like to sort of pave our own way anyway. We've been discussing a cooler spin on missions and earning points and staking your Brozos and stuff, and we decided that it could be a cooler idea to take those missions into real life instead of keeping them, on a website. So, hypothetically say, one of the missions could be to go outside and touch grass, take a picture of your hand touching grass or something, and upload it, and we'll review it. And if we approve it, you get your points. So you can earn points by completing tasks in real life. Maybe like make a video of you wearing a Brozo shirt or something like that. You can earn some points. We haven't ironed out exactly how to, I guess, upload and verify that stuff. Maybe we can do it on Twitter, and then they can share their Twitter link, so that way we can connect it to their username and with their Discord and their wallet and everything, so we can verify the legitimacy of everything. But yeah, the missions we're thinking about just doing in real life missions and really taking the Brozo name to the streets, if you will, and try to get some offline activation and onboard new members and just get more recognition that way.
That's great, and I love the fact that you guys have used points instead of like kind of a token, because tokens can get kind of like kind of a headache to kind of deal with, and it's just that it's just something that it's something you really just don't kind of want to worry about. So I love that. But the points, well, what can you use the points for?
So yeah, I just wanted to touch a little bit on how it's not a token. And the benefits to that, right, would be when it is a token, one, you have to pair a liquidity pool, and I guess two, like the headaches that are created because of that, right? And especially if it's a farming token that people are just consistently farming, it will be a down only sort of thing unless you can convince somebody to buy it. But why would anyone buy a token that thousands of people are constantly farming for free, essentially, and then dumping? So we thought points would be a better way to just to accrue value. And then what those points will be used for are, we're still building out the redemption center on our website, but they'll be used to redeem other NFTs. We do have an Ordinals collection as well, so you could maybe earn some Ordinals. But in addition to that, some wearables that we do release will be available. So you can either use your points for discounts on these items, or if you rack up enough, you could even earn a 100% discount on these items. So you can take your Brozo, you can earn points, and you could essentially turn that into clothing items that you can, wear in real life, which is a really cool concept, because we don't see too much of that going on. We see a lot of points being used for things that sort of stay within your web browser, right? And we like to take it. We like to take stuff out of the internet and bring it into real life, and that's what it's all about, right? Because at the end of the day, if you just go in circles, moving points and moving money and doing whatever it is, do you know what I mean? And it all just sort of stays on, your internet browser. And what good is that, right? You can't do anything with that. So that was the whole idea behind the points and in the fashion and everything that we're creating.
I think that's genius, because like I said, it kind of gives you that it's that real world thing, something that can actually physically touch and that can hold and possess. And I just love the fact that you guys are doing that with the whole point system and everything like that. But you also said something else in the interview. I'm sorry, on what you just said here during this interview is the Ordinals, and the Ordinals is some sick artwork that some of the traits that didn't make it in to the actually main collection. Can you kind of go into some of those traits, and how will they how will the Ordinals what will be their kind of role in this whole Brozo kind of ecosystem?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, there were some traits that were created and were originally intended to be part of our Polygon collection. However, the rarity of them, in the way the RNG works, I guess, right, the random number generator, with the percentages that we allocated towards them, they never actually got generated in the collection. So there were 3 or 4 of them, and instead of letting that artwork go to waste or generating a whole new collection or anything, because we liked the way everything came out.
It looks amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Shout out Teddy, shout out Goose for putting all that together. But yeah, we're like, okay, it'd be a shame for this artwork to go to waste. And also, this new thing just came out called Ordinals. So let's see what we can do here instead of, I guess, dropping another collection on Polygon. Let's put this artwork to use. Let's add more traits, sort of Bitcoined out to fit the culture, oranged out and stuff like that. Just because that seems to be the theme there. So we launched an Ordinals collection, and it was just kind of intended to be a private mint, just for our holders to sort of get something cool. And if you held a certain amount of Polygon Brozos, you were entitled to free Ordinals. So a good portion of the Ordinals that were minted were completely free for our holders, and that we were able to bring back those traits that weren't able to be part of the original collection here on Polygon. So that was just super cool, and we were happy to to just do something for the culture, I guess, if you will. And it's cool to have something on the Ordinals, right? The Bitcoin chain, inscribed in Satoshis, right? You've got your artwork literally on chain. It's not an IPFS link that just points to a picture on a database, right? This is literally on chain, inscribed in the Satoshis, there forever, on an asset that is super bullish, right? So it's just very cool to have, and we wanted to seize that opportunity for sure. And then, as far as use cases is concerned for the Ordinals, we did develop this thing, and we're still working on it, and we're calling it the Kraken card, because within our Discord server we have holder roles. If you hold 100 Brozos, you are a Kraken. And we were originally developing this to be available to Krakens for free, but then we were like, oh, why don't we incorporate more of our collections into this? So now we decided if you hold one Ordinal, you get lifetime access to this Kraken card. And what this is, what the Kraken card is essentially a Web3 based subscription service that the easiest way I can describe it, excuse me, is affiliate marketing, right? If anyone's familiar with that, or if anyone's seen anybody on social media advertising something with their link, what usually happens is they get a kickback when you buy something with their link. Right, so now we have accrued over 30,000 merchant offers, with our own links, and instead of us taking, that kickback that someone would normally get, we give 100% of that kickback back to the user in the form of crypto. So they can shop at Walmart, Dollar Tree. They can purchase from Dick's Sporting Goods, and if they go on vacation, right? We've got Booking.com, Best Western, Expedia, all of that stuff. We've got merchant partner links with them, and the user will get cash back, whether it be 3, 4, 5, 6%, whatever it is. Upon settlement of their purchase, they'll get that cash back in crypto sent directly to their wallet. So I mean, if you travel a lot, if you go to spend it, I know I go to Walmart on the daily almost, right, to get stuff for the house or whatever it is. I'm always there. So if I can get 5% back on all my purchases there directly in crypto to my wallet without any sort of KYC, I mean, the only things really offering this are credit card companies. Like, I have American Express, right? They've got tons of these offers available, but you've got to have, I guess, a decent credit score, and you've got a KYC, and you've got to jump through all these hoops to be able to get, these sort of seemingly low-hanging fruit like merchant offers. So we decided to really shatter that barrier and create, this subscription service where you can hold our NFTs and gain access to this cashback card, if you will, all on chain, in crypto, directly to your wallet with the cashback. So that was the idea behind the Kraken card, and holding an Ordinal gives you access to that. Holding 100 Brozos gives you access to that. And then we also have tiered discounts for other holding amounts. And then if you're not a holder, it'll just be $15 a month. So we think this is huge, honestly, and it's sort of a Web 2.5 product, if you will. I wouldn't say it's completely Web 3. We do have a lot of Web 3 offers on there, like crypto tax calculator, stuff like that, and lots of Web 2 offers. So, we think it's huge. It's going to be huge. So yeah, that's the Kraken card. That's a little bit about Ordinals. Yeah.
I love it. And the Ordinals collecting guides, you have to see it. Each and every single one of them is super banger, and especially the Brolex ones. I was like, dang, man, these are freaking sweet. And I love the spiky haired one with the orange in his hair. All of these ones are just banger artwork. Shout out to the artist. He said it was Moose, right? Moose,
Uh,
Goose, Goose,
Goose. Yeah,
Goose,
Goose.
Goose, Moose, Goose. But no, it all looks great. And Donnie, another thing I kind of want to hit on too, because you have all these things going on, right? You have the Kraken card, you have the staking, right? You have the fashion drops, right? But you also fit something else in. You fit domain names, .bro names. Go ahead and talk about that, because I think it's so cool that you guys did. I minted me quite a bit, and Mr. Mint, if you want your .bro name, you're gonna have to pay up, buddy.
Oh, you minted it?
I did.
Oh man, absolute degen.
Of course.
Yeah, 100%. You know, can't knock
I'm down
it.
bad, man. I need
That's
help.
that's the hustle in this space, right?
hmm
But yeah, bro names, right? You know, they're essentially ENS domain names, right? But they're on Polygon, and they've got our branding and everything. And the company that we partnered with to create these actually, I don't know if anyone's familiar with the Base blockchain,
hmm
but the company is Mesa, and they did .base for the entire Base ecosystem and blockchain, and they did hundreds of thousands of them. So we partnered with them on our .bro names. About 1,500 have been minted so far, but yeah, you know, head over to our website brozo.xyz, click .bro at the top, and go ahead and mint your bro name. It is your unique ENS domain name, and you can sort of rep your affinity towards Brozo and maybe create something memeable and cool out of it. Like Jarek is over here minting founders' names so they can
And
buy
Nike.
off
I got
him.
Nike. I got
You got
Nike
Nike.
too.
Yeah, I seen Amazon. There's Adidas, I think. There's a
I
whole
got
bunch.
Balenciaga too. I put and I even made sure I spelled it right.
That's a tough one. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Uh, so those are cool. And you know, we're working with dApps right now. We're in conversations to get them to be completely resolvable, so that way, you know, users will be able to send crypto and NFTs to your .bro name. So that's still in the works, but that is the overall intention of it. And at the end of the day, there's an unlimited amount that can be created. And this is just, you know, it's amazing for brand recognition, right? Just to have something else out there.
I think it's amazing too. And now that you're saying that you're going to be able to send kind of like crypto to it and everything like that, I think that's great. And I just see that thing blowing up. And I know we're kind of, you know, in this weird kind of bear market, but down the line, man, I think these things are going to freaking fly, you know, in my own opinion, right? And kind of going back, right, you have, you know, the luxury. I want to go back to that luxury fashion, right? Like, you guys have teased some of it, right? But have you had a chance to actually like see like the threading or like feel any kind of like the threading or anything like that?
So I personally have not. However,
Mhm.
Teddy has been going back and forth with our studio, sending samples back and forth to each other and giving reviews, and he's been wearing it.
It looks legit.
Yeah, it looks very, very nice. I've only seen, you know, the pictures, I guess, that he's taken of everything. And you know, he's in the game. He's in the luxury fashion game, so he knows what he's talking about when it comes to quality and how things should look and feel and threading and everything like that. And I know some things I think he sent back and said, maybe can you do it a different way, or can you do this, that, the other? You know, because quality is key when it comes to luxury fashion. Absolutely, you know. So while I have not felt anything personally, I know he has worn some and reviewed it, and given the okay on a lot of it. So, you know, I'm just excited for that to manifest itself and for us to be able to wear, you know, the Brozo gear.
Oh, I can't wait, man. Especially like if it's a jacket or any kind of hat or kind of beanie or anything like that. I am totally rocking that too as well. Now, you said studio, right? And that's like probably one of my favorite things about kind of this project, right? Because I know you had the incubation stuff, and we'll go more into that too as well. We'll actually start off with that. But the Brozo Studio is, of course, going to be for incubation projects, right? That are needing kind of like help or want to kind of get off the ground, right? But also, you guys have, from what I understand, the Brozo Studios is actually going to help people try to get a job in like kind of like Web3, kind of gain that experience. Not so much you guys are going to be like guaranteeing them a job, but kind of like how to navigate these kind of unknown waters, because nobody really knows how to get into Web3. I mean, you said you're in the restaurant business. Do we need a tech, degree? Do we need like a marketing degree? Like, nobody knows. And just kind of, if you can go more in depth on the Brozo Studio.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, definitely Web3 can seem intimidating at first. How do you even get involved? Where do you start? Where do you begin? What are the requirements to even, get your foot in the door here? But yeah, the Brozo Studios are an incubator of sorts, but more of just a one-stop shop to assess the needs of projects building on Polygon. We've got the connections with the foundation, the marketplaces, the launch pads, everything in between, the thread writers, whoever it is. And we can provide, we can make introductions, with projects that we decide to incubate and help build and grow. We want to be able to provide them with everything they need, from an artist all the way down to just introductions with these marketplaces and launch pads and Polygon Foundation team members and everything like that. So we actually just took on a project. There's a gentleman on Polygon. His name is Matic Man.
I don't know if I've heard of him.
Yeah, he was
Legend.
the first person. Yeah, dude, he's a great guy. He was one of the first people that we met when we came here onto Polygon. He had already had a project going, the Crypto Crew NFTs, and he's creating the Street Fighter-esque game around him where those NFTs will be playable characters. But he's dropping another collection, the other side of the characters, the villains. The Crypto Crews are the heroes, right? So he chose us, which is an honor for us, right? Because, we've been here for a few months, and, he welcomed us into the ecosystem, and now, we're sort of helping him with things. And we actually just put, Goose on to his artwork too. So the Legion, so that new collection that he's dropping, their artwork is going to be done by our artist. And, as far as jobs, I guess, are concerned, right? We can essentially provide jobs. We've already done it with a couple collab managers and moderators and Taxi. Taxi.
Oh, of course. Legend.
Yeah, Legend. He's on their socials right now, and our artist is on their artwork. Our collab manager has been doing their collabs and setting up their Discord and stuff like that. So, I mean, how it works is we interview people in the space who, maybe have a little experience or want to get more involved or get their feet wet in Web3, whether it be moderators, artists, developers, what have you, collab managers. And then, the projects that reach out to us, we sort of now have a reserve of talented people that we can, use as resources for these projects. So it honestly helps everybody, right? We help projects get their foot in the door and make the connections, and we can also staff up these projects with people, so the projects don't have to go looking for people or doing the interviews or anything like that, right? Or getting rugged by like some shitty person or whatever it is. We take all that out of the equation. Here's a staff, and then the staff will get paid by the project at the end of the mint. We sort out a deal with the people who are working and with the project, so that way everybody gets paid. So it's a really cool opportunity, and just we haven't really seen anybody do anything like this yet, where you can just sort of create a studio, if you will, of projects and I guess workers, staff members. So things are coming together really nicely.
And no, I haven't heard anybody doing that, to be honest with you. And like I said, especially me, like, I want to go kind of like full-time Web3 someday, right? That's the goal. That's the dream, right? And, kind of like when I first got in here and I kind of started asking around, like, hey, what do you need to get in here? And everybody was kind of every man for himself, right? Well, I don't know. I just, blah, 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 blah. And like no one really kind of like helped you out. And I was kind of like, oh yeah, you need this, you need that. It'd help if you had like maybe like a coding background. And I got said like, oh no. So another person would say like, no, you don't need anything. And it's just great that you guys are kind of like help navigate these kind of waters, because we're going to get more people in here. And I think that studio is going to be needed, because there's going to be some people that this may be their calling. And I wish, honestly, this would have been around 2 years ago, to be honest with you. But I think I would have been already full-time Web3 by now, to be honest. And I just love the fact that y'all are doing that.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I mean, yeah, the idea is to we like to sort of pave our own way, and we also like to break the barriers, and you know, we want to onboard as many people to this space as we can at the end of the day. And if we can remove any sort of glass ceiling or any sort of, you
Mhm.
know, barriers that people face along the way, then we want to do that, right? Because at the end of the day, a rising tide lifts all boats. You know, if projects come to us and they succeed, then, you know, that is a sign of our success as well. And it's just sort of, you know, a pay it forward sort of situation here, that helps everybody at the end of the day. So it's a long-term mentality sort of situation.
Yeah, and just like I said, I just love the fact that y'all are doing that. And also, I didn't want to leave this one out too. I thought this was a pretty interesting. Actually, you guys were one of the first to actually kind of like do it, like do this too with the whole casino thing. Well, other projects have, but you guys have actually incorporated this in, and it's being really successful because I've seen other projects do it and not be so successful. And that was the Brosino. Can you kind of give more information on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we sort of stealth-launched a little mini casino,
Hmm.
like a few a few weeks after Mint. And our first game was a rocks paper scissors game. And essentially, how it works is, you know, 33% odds that, you know, it's rocks paper scissors, right? So 33% odds that you can either win, tie, or break even. So at the end of the day, you know, there's a 66% chance you either double your money or walk away with the same amount of money. Um, but yeah, we thought that could be fun to just bolster engagement and activity and transaction volume on Polygon, and we weren't wrong. It's done some decent volume. I think around 20,000 Matic so far. It's just a fun game, right? Just a fun thing to have as part of your overall ecosystem, and just to keep people engaged while we, you know, try to deliver, you know, the wearables and things like that. We do have 3 more games coming, and I think like the next week or so, next week or two. Um, and you know, one of them is a coin flip. Another one is sort of, it's tough to explain. It's called Moonshot, and how it works is, you know, you're displayed this chart with a little rocket ship on it. You wager your Matic, and you know, this rocket goes up and to the right on the chart, and you pick a cash out. So it can go all the way up to 100x or more. But you know, say you want to cash out at 3x, right? So it'll go to, maybe say it goes to 20x. You didn't hit that 20 because you didn't put 20, but you played it safe and you got your 3x. If it doesn't make the amount you put in, like 3x, if it doesn't get that high, then you lose your money, right? But if it does, then you get it. So say you put 20, you wager one Matic and you put 20x, and it goes to 100x, you know, you missed out on the 100x, but you still 20x to your one Matic. But if it didn't make it to 20, then you lose your Matic. So it's a very fun, addictive sort of degen game. And another one is very similar in a way with the X's. I say it's more similar to rocks paper scissors. You either, I guess you either win or lose, but you can double or triple your Matic. So you know, we've got 3 new games coming, so we'll have 4 total games in the Brosino, which is at the end of the day something we just decided to stealth launch. But it's
It was a good stealth launch.
yeah, it's super
Yeah.
cool. And you know, I know when that bull market comes around, you know, the people will want just a one-stop shop to be able to degen their Matic and maybe get 100x on it or whatever it is when they start to have that disposable money. So we're laying the foundations now for, you know, for explosive growth once more volume returns to the space overall.
Yeah, I love that. Like you guys are constantly building into the bear market. You're not doing anything like crazy. You're not being quiet because you guys have spaces too as well. And if you can kind of go more in that, like how often do you hold these spaces on Twitter or X? Sorry, X Spaces.
I still call them Twitter Spaces too.
Yeah.
But yeah, we host them twice a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays at 9 p.m. UTC, which is 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. And yeah, you know, they started off, you know, I had the idea. I'm like, okay, let's come out the gate hot. So, you know, like day 1 of Mint, we're just going to host these community spaces. And we were still new to the ecosystem, so they were originally intended just for for us to be able to get in touch with the community, in touch
Hmm.
with the projects, and just everyone in Polygon, and sort of assess, the sentiment and what people are thinking about, what people need, and just sort of have an open conversation, an open forum of what we can do, and in just another way to connect with community members or potential community members or just people listening, just being out there, having these conversations in public that people can tune in and listen to, and raise their hand and chime in and say, I really like that idea, or I hate that idea, right? We love feedback. Any sort of criticism we take constructively, because we want to deliver what people want, and we want to to be the best at the end of the day. So if everyone's saying they like something, or if everyone's saying they don't like something, we'll either do it or not do it. Or if something is needed, that this is a way for us just to be more in touch with the community.
Yeah, I love it, and that's what kind of like was kind of like a huge check mark, like when kind of like going through and kind of learning about the whole Polygon ecosystem, and kind of where I came from is that you rarely got a hold of like founders or people on the team. In this last bull run, like you were lucky to get an AMA every like month or even 3 months, and you guys were out there, you're holding spaces. And I'm like, oh no, man, this is a team I want to attach myself to, because you're building, you're not hiding, and you're out there in the front. And people have, I've been in, like, as I'm in a lot of them, right? And not that I show anything or anything like that, but it's just that people come in there. They come in there, sometimes they cry or they do their thing, and you guys just sit there, answer the questions. And I love that you guys do that. You, Taxi, Make, all those guys. And like I said, man, hats off to you guys on that. But I do want to ask you this, though. Will there ever be any kind of like IRL events maybe planned down the line?
So yeah, we do have IRL events in the planning books, I guess we could say. We haven't decided on a location or what exactly we want to do. They are pretty hefty in terms of payments to get them going. But it is something that we've planned. We want to call it like proof of experience. We dropped a teaser on that like a few weeks or a couple months back, just as proof of experience. And no one really knows what it means, but you're hearing it now. Essentially what it means is, we want to create these IRL events, for the community to get together and, bring it away from the Discord, away from the Twitter, and just connect with each other in real life, and, have those conversations and knowledge sharing and ideas and everything like that. And, we want to provide a nice venue and a nice atmosphere for people to do that. So yeah, we'll definitely have events. I can't speak as to when they will be, but I know that Teddy has been thinking about it and trying to create something around that. I know that the team will be at Art Basel this year in Miami.
Oh, cool.
So there could be something going on with that. I don't want to say too much, but there will definitely be IRL events for the Brozo community.
That's great to hear. And Donnie, and before I kind of let you go and everything like that, would you like to participate in a new segment presented by the Jared Bryan Show?
Yeah, would love to.
Yeah, it's where I'm going to start taking questions from the audience, right? And this one I made, I got special for you. It's coming from a person. Hold on, I'm going to flip to my pages here. Narek Ryan, and he asked Donnie, I love what you're doing, and I love the whole team, and I love all that stuff that you guys got going on. But I want to ask a question. Why do you hate Jarek so much? And I just think it's like criminally tragic, because he is such a handsome, talented individual. And I just think he's just going to take off like a rocket. And I just want to know what you're thinking on why you hate him so much. And Narek Ryan, thank you. Wow. I mean, Donnie, do you have anything to comment on that?
Yeah, Narek. I don't know when this hatred sort of started, but it has just been it's been growing ever since. ever since I met the guy, really. But no, in all seriousness, I don't know how that started, but it's just
it was funny.
It's sort of been an ongoing joke, right?
It was all Insta's fault. That's when I was like, this guy.
Yeah.
It was Insta, because I was posting all the Brozos I got, and I got like nothing. And I was like, there's no way. There is no way, because like I would see the account post, And I'm like, okay, well, let me tag him, see if I can get their attention. And I was like, ghost. I was like, there's, and then I would get, I think I messaged it, and it was like, I was left on red or something like that. And I was like,
so for a while, the Instagram
mhm,
was fan made. It was sort of a fan page. So
mhm,
I cannot take any responsibility for any shadow banning that they did to you there.
uh-huh.
I do apologize on behalf of but no, so I do own the account now. I have been sleeping on it a little bit because
Yeah, same. It's hard on Instagram for some reason, man. I get nothing. I post all these clips, and I get nothing. Like nada, man. It was like, man,
yeah.
why even? But I don't know. I'm still putting part of the grind on Instagram and TikTok. So, I guess, man. But it was just like even then, as I made my own like personal page, man, nothing, bro. I get nothing.
Well, it's tough to break into like what is the Web3 algorithm, right? Like
Yeah,
on Twitter, it's really easy. You know, you follow a couple people, you engage with a few more, and then before you know it, dude, you're on crypto Twitter, and all you see is crypto stuff. But Instagram, however, is another animal that I'm still trying to tackle and learn how to break into that. But really, the idea that I've had behind it was, you know, instead of being extremely Web3, I wanted to. And this is why I've been sleeping on it a little bit. I'm just like doing research about how to create these reels that I see these other companies make, but I wanted to tap into like the luxury sort of algorithm
hmm,
of Instagram and just get more brand awareness. I guess through that by posting like luxury clips with maybe like an inspirational quote or something, dude. Because that's, you know, I see a lot of that. I see that every day. You know, I'm always scrolling and I see some dude get out of a Bugatti or like on a
yeah,
yacht or some shit, right? And there's some quote about whatever. So you know, further down the line when we, you know, officially produce our fashion, right, our apparel, and we can have links for that and have the shop on Instagram and stuff like that. You know, I want to tap into the, you know, the luxury algorithm, so that way, you know, we get those follows from people who like inspirational things and bougie things. They like to see that on their timeline, and then, you know, they find out that we have a shop, and then, you know, they find out, or maybe they don't find out, that we're a Web3 company or whatever it is. So I want to use Instagram as a way to actually break out of Web3 in a way for the brand.
yeah. It's just a tough beast to tackle. But Donnie, you know, before you go, is there anything else that you want to say, or any community members you want to shout out, or anybody you want to shout out before you go?
Yeah, no, absolutely, yo. I want a big shout out to Jory. All right, big shout out to Black Pinzel. Shout out to Taxi and Make. Those two homies have been co-hosting our Brozo community space for quite some time now. Shout out Drugs, the leader of the Brolex DAO. Shout out Epaz, leader of the Punks DAO.
Boomer.
Shout out, yeah, Boomer. Shout out Tiz, leader of the Lonely Bros.
Legend, Tiz, man.
Absolute legend. Um, Honestly, man, the whole community, like I could go through and just shout everybody out. You know, shout out Lav Luland, the leader of the Pimps DAO. Shout out Truecan. I haven't seen him in a little bit, but he is a fucking homie. Shout out Marsu. Shout out the Matic Man, really.
Hmm.
Uh, Shout out Jarek Bryan, TBH. um, Shout out Envia. That's a homie. Shout out Jest. Shout out Itonic. Man. Yeah, I guess that's good for now.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I mean,
I could
plus
do this.
Pinzel like owns like the whole collection anyway. So
Yeah,
yeah,
Pinzel was the first Brosidon, which is a role that
yeah.
we created just for him, for 200 Brozos. Shout out Ramrag, actually. He's another Brosidon that came in, became a Brosidon a little bit after Pinzel. So, man, just shout out everybody in the community. You guys are fucking the reason we do everything we do. And I just love chopping it up, chatting with you in the Discord, on the Twitter spaces, all of that. You know, we wouldn't be where we are without such solid support from such a fucking dope community. So we appreciate everything you guys have done for us, and we will continue to at least try to deliver what you guys need.
I appreciate it, Donnie. Thank you for coming on my show, Donnie. And listen, I appreciate all your time. Thank you.
Yeah, bro. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. Would love to chop it up again with you soon. And yeah, we'll be seeing you.
And guys, you know, that kind of wraps our show. If you like content like this, please like, comment, share, subscribe, download, follow me on X, follow Brozos on X. I'm going to have all their stuff pinned down to the bottom. Get you a Brozo, get in the Discord, hang out with us. And guys, I will see you around on the blockchain. Take care.